Today, in preparation for the test on Tuesday, we're going to have a quiz, but it's open note. So open your notes. This is to reward you for taking good notes. And a blank piece of paper. It's an oral quiz, so I'll be giving you the questions, and you have to find the answers quickly in your notes. Be organized, there should not be any trouble at all. And this will help you maybe know some of the things that you should study for Tuesday. Make sure you head your paper properly. And we shall begin. Number 1. What man wrote about his travels and encouraged people to think about Asia? What man wrote about his travels which encouraged many to think about Asia, China in particular? As far as I know, he did not own a swimming pool. Number 2. According to the best evidence, and especially according to Mr. Henry, how did most of the first Americans get here? The natives. How did the first Native Americans get to America? By what means did they get here? Number 3, who was the Portuguese explorer who found a waterway to China around South Africa? Or he found a way to get there. He didn't actually go there. The Portuguese explorer who found a way to get to China around Africa by sailing to the Cape of Good Hope. Last name is sufficient for most of these characters. Number 4, who was the Portuguese explorer who sailed all the way around Africa to India and back? Portuguese explorer who sailed around Africa to India and back. Who was the famous explorer who thought he had found the Indies by sailing west across the Atlantic Ocean, but unfortunately got his eyes off of God and onto gold? Who was that famous explorer? Need me to repeat? Raise your hand and tell me how to let go. The famous, apparently not famous explorer who sailed west across the Atlantic Ocean and thought he found the Indies, but got his eyes onto gold instead of God. Number 6, who was the Spanish explorer whose ship was the first European ship to sail around the world, to circumnavigate the globe? The Spanish explorer whose ship was the first European ship to sail around the world. Number 7, who was the Italian explorer who sailed for England and discovered or came upon Newfoundland and laid claim to North America for England? The explorer who sailed for England and claimed North America for England. Number 8, who was the German monk who is credited with beginning the Reformation? The German monk who is credited with beginning the Reformation. Number 9. What was the social force which challenged Rome's educational and cultural monopoly, emphasizing the arts? Number 10. What was the political force which brought stronger kings, making the Pope less relevant? What was the political force which brought stronger kings, making the Pope less relevant, less influential, less powerful? Number 11. What caused, let's see how I want to say that. What was it that caused people to desire more insight into their relationship with God that had been neglected by the Roman Catholic Church? I'm not sure. It was kind of awkward to begin with. I can't remember how I started. Some of you writing it down? What did I say? Kevin, did you write it down?
I was waiting for
What impetus was there for people to desire more knowledge about God and how to come to God that had been neglected by the Roman Catholic Church? Or what was created by this neglect that caused people to want to know more about God? Number 12. The Reformers believed in the absolute authority of what? What was the primary authority? Number 13, the Reformers also believed that instead of having one priest that you would go to intermediate between you and God, they believed instead of the priesthood of whom? They believed in the priesthood of whom? Number 14, question?
Can you repeat number 12?
Number 12. The Reformers believed in the absolute authority of what? What was the basis of all that they believed? They would appeal to what? Okay, number 14. One of the causes of religious wars was the political ambitions of what kind of people? The political ambitions of what kind of people was one of the causes of religious wars in Europe. Number 15. Who was the conquistador or explorer of Spain that captured Montezuma and crushed the Aztec resistance? Who was the conquistador of Spain that captured Montezuma and crushed Aztec resistance? Number 16. Who was the conquistador of Spain that explored Florida, looking for the fountain of youth? Which explorer went through Florida looking for the fountain of youth and admiring all the flowers? Number 17. In the conflict between the English and the Spanish, who was the primary sea dog who was eventually knighted by Queen Elizabeth? The sea dog that was knighted by Queen Elizabeth. Number 18. Who was it that compiled a list of arguments favoring the colonization of North America? And then he was given permission to plant a colony by the Queen of England. Who compiled a list of arguments favoring the colonization of North America? Number 19. What colony was named in honor of Queen Elizabeth? What colony was named in honor of Queen Elizabeth? And number 20. What was the name of the first permanent English settlement in the New World? The name of the first permanent English settlement in the New World. Any of it you need repeated?
Number 7.
The explorer who sailed for England and having come upon Newfoundland claimed that and all of North America for England.
Number 18.
18. Who was it that compiled a list of arguments favoring the colonization of North America, presented it to Queen Elizabeth?
I have a question about 18. Do you want both people or just one?
No, just the main guy that we know. Yes, Haley? 20. The name of the first permanent English settlement in the New World. First permanent English settlement, the one that lasted. Not the one that got lost. Any others? All right. I'll go through the answers just so that you will know in preparation for studying for the test what you need to work on, because you missed it on the quiz or you got it right. You'll know. Okay, so check your own paper and then I'm going to collect them. So just put either a line through the number or a check mark by the ones that you miss. Don't check off the ones you got right. Check the ones you miss. And I'll collect them and put them in the grade book while you use some time to prepare for the test. All right, here we go. Everybody ready? Everybody done writing answers? Number 1, the person who wrote a book talking about Asia was who, Joey?
Marco Polo.
Marco. Yes, right. Does anybody know how that game got started?
No,
Me either. We should actually look that up. Somebody Google that. Go ahead, get your phone out and Google it somewhere. Anybody? Oh, you don't have your phones. Just check. Okay, how did the first natives get to America? Haley?
I have to sail on boats.
They sailed on boats, yes. Boats. What? Sailed?
Sailing.
Sailing. Okay, I guess if you're sailing, you've got a boat. All right, any questions? Boat would be the answer you're looking for. Number 3, the Portuguese explorer who found a way to get to Asia around Africa was who? Megan?
Diaz.
Right, Diaz. Number 4, the Portuguese explorer who made it all the way around Africa, all the way to India and back.
Vasco da Gama.
Right, Da Gama. Now, if you have trouble keeping them straight, just go alphabetically. D for Diaz comes before G for Gama. Number 5, who was the famous explorer who sailed west, thought he found the Indies? Sarah.
Christopher Columbus.
That is correct, Columbus. Number 6, whose ship was the first European ship to sail around the world? Caleb. Magellan. Number 7, who was the explorer who claimed North America for England? You've already answered something, haven't you? Yes, hey.
John Cabot.
Right, Cabot. Number 8, who is considered who is the German monk who is considered to be the one who started the Reformation? Steph?
Martin Luther.
Right, Luther. Number 9, what was the movement social force which challenged Rome's educational and cultural monopoly? Jessica?
Renaissance.
Renaissance. Number 10, what was the political force that brought stronger kings, making a pope less necessary, less powerful? Who was that? Alex.
Nationalism.
Or what was that? Nationalism, yes. What was the, this is the question I had trouble forming. What gave impetus to people desiring to know more about God because it had been so neglected by the Roman Catholic Church? Micah?
Spiritual hunger.
That's right. Spiritual hunger. Number 12, what was the authority for the reformers? Sophia?
Scripture.
Correct. 13, the reformers believed in the priesthood of whom? Brady?
All believers.
Correct. Number 14, many of the religious wars, or one of the causes of religious wars in Europe was the ambition of what kind of people? Nate?
Kings of Europe.
Right, kings. Number 15, who was the Spanish explorer that captured Montezuma and defeated the Aztecs? Devin?
Cortez.
Correct. 16, who was the man who explored Florida looking for the fountain of youth? Is there anybody I have to call on you? Stephen?
Ponce de Leon.
Right, De Leon. Number 17, who was the Englishman who was a sea dog, knighted by Queen Elizabeth, also sailed around the world? Lahana.
Francis Drake.
Drake is correct. And 18, who was the Englishman who presented a list of reasons why North America should be colonized by the English?
Walter Raleigh.
Right, Raleigh. And number 19, what was the colony that was named after Queen Elizabeth? Michaela? Virginia. And number 20, the first permanent settlement, English permanent settlement?
Jamestown.
Jamestown is correct. Okay, put how many you missed at the top, minus however many it was at the top, and let me have those. Yeah, pass them toward whoever's in front of you. All right. The last page of your notes has a study guide. You see that? Brief and to the point, but a guide nonetheless. So in the time we have left, which is about 15 minutes, you can do one of two things. You can either go through your notes and highlight things yourself to study, or you can try to learn some things that are in there that maybe you don't remember, or you can get together with a partner and quiz each other. as long as it's done quietly and you focus on quizzing over this material and not talking about what you're going to eat at the fair or anything else. Okay? Any question? Hannah? Okay, you can do that if you're pressed for time to get something done, and you'll study this later. Any other questions? Okay, let's get busy with productive studying.